You're not going to take as much as he did. Travis Wrightsman's the head coach of South Ripley. He played high school basketball at Newcastle, played collegiately at Blackburn College in Illinois, coached in Salem, Missouri for 10 years, 7 years as a head coach, and the call to come back to Mecca to coach high school basketball was answered. He's the coach that led South Ripley to a sectional title in 2010. Please welcome Travis Wrightsman. Travis, congratulations.
Again, like all the other coaches, I want to thank Coach Mormon here and everybody for having this great opportunity. Being a guy who coached in Missouri for 10 years, Indiana basketball is, it doesn't compare to any other state. Our gym in Missouri held 900, and we were lucky if we got 600 there. So, Indiana basketball is king, and me personally, being from Newcastle, I grew up. Everybody else has professional athletes. I grew up wanting to be a Trojan, and that's just part of Indiana basketball. And getting to run out in that tunnel, finally when I was in high school, running out of the field house was nothing else like it. And Coach Graham that went to Newcastle also, he can tell you, Newcastle basketball doesn't get any better. And Southeastern Indiana basketball is pretty damn good too. So, like I said, this is my 7th year at South Ripley. We're kind of like Milan. We lost everything from last year. I lost 6 seniors, 5 starters from last year. So I've got 1 senior back and Chase Samples, about a 6'1". I'm not sure what you really call him position-wise. He'll run through the wall to get the ball. I know that. He can shoot a little bit, but he's our only senior. Averaged a bucket a game last year and a rebound. So he's our only senior back. We do have a pretty talented junior in Brady Meyer. Is a junior this year at 6'4". Did a little bit of starting last year towards the end of the year, so we're definitely going to rely on him a lot this year. Kind of as our marquee player and probably our best player. Got several newcomers up from a JV team. I think 13-5, Coach? 13-5 from the JV. So we do have some promise. Elijah Repke's a 6'6" junior. Again, guard forward. Ty Tucker, another junior at 6'4". So we do have some decent size. Caleb Riley, another junior at 6'2". Then we got a couple little guards. We kind of rag on Shaw a little bit. I got a kid from Shaw actually, so I think he was there one day last year, the last day of school, and somehow he actually was at South Ripley till 7th grade, and then moved to Madison. So he's a 5'9" junior. Then we have a couple other juniors, and actually one more junior, Larry Pickett, and then a couple sophomores trying to get on the varsity, 5'10" Corey Walker and 5'10" Derek Turner. So we're going to be definitely very young. We don't have a whole lot back, so it could be a trying time at times this year. But I'm pretty optimistic. We've got some good size. We've got some athleticism. We just got to learn to play a little bit better as a team. And then our JV team is, again, going to be young. We've only got about 20 kids in the program right now. With a small senior class and a small sophomore class, we only have about 5 sophomores. So we've got a couple sophomores down on the JV and some freshmen. So I think we'll be okay. It might be a rough learning curve here at the beginning of the season, but I think as we get going, I think things will get a little brighter. And then obviously next year for the varsity, it will be a team that we're definitely going to be, I think a pretty solid team with everybody back but one. So we're pretty excited about the youth that we do have, and we're looking forward to the season. The schedule, a little bit like Coach Mormon said, I think the one thing Indiana could learn from Missouri is Missouri put on great tournaments. I was very fortunate to coach out there for 7 years, and they had excellent tournaments out there. And I consider a tournament 8 teams or more. We have some teams around here, a 4-team tournament. I don't really consider that a tournament. But out there in Missouri, they did a great job of tournaments. So I kind of approached Coach Mormon there about maybe getting a tournament started here in Southeastern Indiana. And really, I'm an old school guy, obviously from Newcastle. We were the big boys there in the sectional. We kicked all those little county schools' butt all the time. But I'm still an old school guy, and I love one class, and it's probably never going to go back there. But I kind of approached him with trying to get a tournament set up, and basically whoever wanted to play. I didn't care if you were 1A with 50 people, or 4A with 1,600 people. We were looking to get a solid tournament started up, and I think we've got a good group of teams that he kind of mentioned. From Bloomington North, it's got Tom Crean's son on it. I don't know how good he is, but Tom Crean might be in for sales in Indiana, so that'd be pretty cool. So we're pretty excited about that, and hopefully maybe that tournament will keep growing, and maybe we'll get another 8 teams in it and have 16 teams. But right now we have 8 teams in that tournament with a varsity and a JV. We're fortunate enough to play some pretty good teams. We've had to play Greensburg forever. They've kicked our ass forever. I learned 2 years ago when we were playing Batesville in the tournament, after they beat us, of course, one of their fans threw a football over at our bench, and I picked it up, and it said 32 in a row, just to let you know. I'm like, well, thank you. I appreciate that. So I talked to my trusty assistant here, Brad Samples, and he goes, yeah, I think 1994 was the last year we beat Batesville, and he happened, I think, to be a sophomore on that team. So we don't play him in the regular season anymore, but we do obviously eventually maybe play him in the Ripley County tournament. So we're trying to avenge a loss sometime. It's like Coach from Blankenship, maybe if we combine Jacksonville, Milan, and South Ripley, we might be able to beat Batesville. Maybe, I'm not sure. We did pick up a couple new schools this year. We picked up Seymour, so I think that's a great opportunity for our kids to go to that gym. We'll play them at home this year, but the next year, getting to go to Seymour, getting to play in that nice gym, that'll be a good experience. And then we're going to go down to Rock Creek Academy in Sellersburg. I just kind of found out not too long ago that they kind of do some shady recruiting, maybe like Shaw does, but we're going to go play them. I think they've got some big boys there from some different countries, so we're going to enjoy that and get a little taste of that. We dropped Jennings County this year and picked up Austin, a sectional opponent, so we're looking forward to playing Austin, and I think we almost have a chance to play all these teams, all the coaches up here. I think except maybe Hauser, I think is the only team we probably won't have a chance to play this year. So we're pretty excited about South Ripley basketball. We've got to, like all the other coaches, we're working constantly with our youth programs to get those going. And I've got a great staff. My assistant coach here is Brad Samples. He's a South Ripley alum. If it weren't for that Michael Mincer kid from Batesville, South Ripley would have probably won a few games back in the day then. But Brad was fortunate enough to go to IU to play baseball, so he was a big baseball guy and played basketball. I have Kyle Jolly, who's another South Ripley alum, as my freshman coach. And then I've got 2 more South Ripley alum, and Curtis Stephen and Chad Renfro, that are my junior high coaches. So I'm very blessed to have some good South Ripley people around me. And we've got a great community. I think most of you know South Ripley does a great job of traveling well to the games, and we're always pretty excited about basketball in South Ripley. We got a new gym about 6 or 7 years ago, so it's a great place to play. And I guess being from Newcastle, I might have took a little Steve Bennett, that we're going to have 14 home games this year, so we're pretty excited about that. We get the Ripley County tournament, we got the South Ripley tournament, and we get the sectional, so we're guaranteed 14 home games this year. So I guess I took a little page from Steve Bennett at Newcastle. We're not going to leave the barn very often there at South Ripley. So, and I cannot forget to mention our first game of the year is Jacksonville. It's the turkey shootout. And I learned quickly 7 years ago, you have to beat Jacksonville in the turkey game. Unfortunately, my first year, Jacksonville won the state title that year. They only beat South Ripley by 41. And I told my assistant, what in the F am I doing here? Because Coach Bradshaw kicked our tail pretty good. But, I'm a big NASCAR fan, and the Daytona 500 is the first race of the year. The biggest game of the year for South Ripley is Jacksonville, the first game of the year. So we're looking forward to that come up November 25th. So the barn's going to be rocking that night, and Jacksonville's got a great team coming in. So we're looking forward to that. Again, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. This is a great idea and a great turnout, and we're looking for more years to come. Thank you.